Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you this fine Friday morning. Wherever you are in the world, I want to extend a warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining the show today. Thank you for your continued support. If you haven't done so already, if you can smash the like button, that's going to help get this channel out to more people, help kind of grow the channel and support the channel. Enjoy reading your comments and your questions. I look forward to those every time I post a video and getting back to those as soon as possible. And if you haven't subscribed and joined our ever-growing community, we are now 2 months old and we're over 3,000 subscribers. So I appreciate all of those that have joined and supported this channel. Much appreciation. There are a lot of links in the description below. Please check those out, including the Stocks with Josh Discord, the best community on the planet. I'm biased, I know, because I'm in there in the crypto channel on a daily basis, connecting with the most awesome people in there as well. Okay, we're going to jump into a couple of news events. Firstly, we have an options expiry today. The max pain is around $63,000, okay? So that happens today. So just be careful, price action. Let's not have a fake out here. Bitcoin is pumped a little bit overnight. And so let's just keep an eye on that price action. We'll go into the Bitcoin charts in just a moment, okay? I did want to have a look at a couple of news events here. And so the first one I want to look at is the hash ribbons. We've been talking about that a lot since we had the minor capitulation signal. Now we have the buy signal, but we have the buy signal on the 5-day chart, which is even more significant. Out of the past 8 occurrences, this has resulted in a massive pump. Get ready for the ride. And you can see here how we have seen the buy signals on the 5-day chart. We've seen some good upside at each of these times that we've had this buy signal here. So I do believe this is very bullish. I think we had the minor capitulation. We had the buy signal. It's a reliable chart indicator. It's not perfect, but certainly it's a very, very encouraging signal to have go off on the chart, okay? So we also had from Grayscale. Thank you, Grayscale. Thanks, Barry, for the 10x fees, forcing everybody to sell their Ethereum and therefore dumping the price heavily. Good on you, mate. That's awesome. So we've got a lot that's gone 12.5% of the way through. They've got 9.2 billion. And so we've seen 484 million, 329 and 345 million. So we'll see what happens at the end of today to see, but I'm going to expect there's going to be more selling from Grayscale as people, and there's also people who are taking profit and they're avoiding capital gain. Remember, this trust has been around for many years. And so there'll be people that have gone past the year time frame and have been holding for more than a year and will sell without realizing and having to pay a capital gains tax. So I think there's two things going on at play here. There's people selling, locking in profit and getting out at the same time as well. And of course, there'll be some people just moving to a different ETF. Funny enough, Grayscale have the ETF Mini, which I think they have low or no fees. So make it make sense. Why didn't they just do that for their ETF? I'm not sure. Then they would have got more inflows. But anyway, I think because they want to keep grabbing all those fees and at the same time get new ETFs come in to their ETF Mini. And then of course, I think it's only free for about 6 months or so. And then they'll start the fees on that and they'll have 2 going. Make it make sense. But anyway, there's how it works. So just keep an eye on that. I would expect Ethereum. I mean, Bitcoin went down for, 10 to 12 days. I'm expecting around the same for Ethereum as well before we see some kind of reversal and hopefully take off. Hopefully there's some demand because ETH is right now inflationary as well. There's no max supply on ETH. So there's been more ETH being added to the supply, which is also suppressing the price. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it feels like a lot of market manipulation going on here, allowing all the ETF buyers to jump in at some pretty good pricing. And that being said, we have seen a lot of Ethereum over the first 48 hours of the ETF launch. People just moved over to Solana. 80 million been bridged from Ethereum to Solana. So make that of it as you will, but there are a lot of great quality projects on Solana. The Solana, obviously itself, coin. Then you've got HNT Helium, and you've got the Render as well as on Solana. A bunch of others, and of course all the meme coins, like Bonk and Myro, etc. on the Solana chain. There's a long, long list of meme coins there, and then we have the Solana. Talking of Solana, is looking a lot like July 2021. Are we going to see the same thing happen here where it just takes off? We see what happened in 2021. So let's just see how this shakes out and if we're going to get the same kind of reaction. I am expecting at least Solana to get to 600, but I'd be very surprised actually if it didn't get to 800-900 and maybe even breach the $1,000 there. I mean, that's a good upside for Solana. Certainly, if you've been following my cheat sheet and gotten in at all those great levels on there, you're going to be well positioned for when that actually does take off. Okay, we're going to jump into some of the charts here. Where are we? Here we go. Bitcoin chart here. So what we saw with Bitcoin is we saw, this is kind of some pretty neat price action, really, to be honest. We've created a higher low, and let's see if we create a higher high there and get above this. This is what I'm looking for, and then I'm going to really flip bullish because then I think we'll come up and retest. So we really want to break above this level here, about 68,475. So mark that down. If we can get back above that on the daily and create a higher high, then I think we're going to be off to the races here and come up to look and retest this area here, this trend line where we have a Lux or go order block. There'll be a lot of selling pressure there around that 69.70 kind of area there. Also, so risks to the downside. Look, I gave you that buy signal down to the 50-day moving average. I gave it in the Discord. I gave it on YouTube at 63,500. For those of you who got in on that trade, you'll be up significantly. Okay, so I did make that call. I did tell you a retest of the 50-day moving average, and look at that wick, bang, down, retest 63,456. So I gave you that 63,500 level, absolutely nailed it, gave it to you guys. If you'd gotten in there, that's what I said was the aggressive first entry. There are other entries that I gave, but if you locked in that entry, then you've got some very good price appreciation here so far. You topped out around 67,546, and then we're slightly did we there 68. We topped out at 68 there. So that's a good trade right there. That's a good trade if you got in there. What am I looking for now? Okay, well, here's the deal. What I'm looking for now is you should have got in here when I gave this to you the other day. You should be writing this up, taking some profits. Where would be a good re-entry? I think back on this trend line wouldn't be a terrible entry, quite an aggressive one, back to here at 67. But personally for me, I'm looking for the top here of this ribbon here, and the ribbon is at 64,331. If you haven't got this ribbon and you want to know how to get this ribbon, just go to the indicators and just type in ribbon, and you'll find the ribbon for scalping 5 to 15 minute time frame. So I do use this on the 15-minute time frame, but I have it on the daily because I do find quite often that it likes to return to the top of this ribbon, the top yellow EMA on this ribbon here. And so that's what I find. You kind of see that that's kind of get compressed. And as you can see with price action, you can see whenever it gets fully extended from there, as you can see, these top bands get extended, it tends to come back to it. Look how it retested it perfectly, go up, and you see these bands and they get wide and there's gaps between them and then comes down. We had a breakdown from it. But of course, this is where you short Bitcoin, because again, when you get those bands and they get wide here, it tends to come back to this line. Look how it goes again. Then there's bands here. Then you know if you're in a short, it's time to lock in some profit, because particularly the top three are quite wide here. And then we come back, we broke through to the other side. And you can play the short and long all day. You can do it on any time frame, the daily, the 4 hour. I like to do it on the 15-minute time frames to get in quick and in and out, whereas these trades can take days to materialize. Okay, so we're looking here and we see this got quite extended, and that's why it came back. And look what happened, bang, on that line. Now, this is what I'm looking for. If we get above the level that I gave you there just before, that's what I'm looking for more continuation to the upside. Obviously, if we pop back down below this, bang our head on this trend line here, and you can see this is key. This is key because this is where the original breakdown of Bitcoin happened. Fear, everybody was panicking. I was telling people to buy, and I had all those levels in the cheat sheet for people to pick up and scoop up and look at the appreciation since I gave that buy signal back when I was telling people to buy these tips, and and I gave all the dip levels in the cheat sheet, which we'll go to in a moment, and look at the appreciation. We went from 53 all the way up to 68. If you'd followed my trades, if you've been following me on YouTube and following me in the Discord. And then as we came down to here, I called this just the other day. Now we're up. So I'm looking for a retest of this top yellow line. If we break down from this trend line, I'm looking for a retest of this top yellow line and this area here. So this will be another good re-entry for me around 64,400. And then obviously the 50-day moving average sitting at about 63,600. So those are two little areas. Somewhere in there would be a good little spot to add. And obviously if we break down from there, 61 and the 200 EMA at 59. So those are the three levels that I'm giving you for today on Bitcoin. I did want to quickly look at the DXY here, because the DXY is important to keep an eye on, because it usually goes the opposite of Bitcoin. And we see here with the DXY, we have broken down below the 200 EMA. We're banging away. A further breakdown from here should see Bitcoin go higher. If we see the DXY push up to the 50-day moving average, we're going to see Bitcoin drop. And if we see it push through there up to this trend line, we're going to see it drop more, and obviously further up. So we do want to see this continue to from this 200 EMA, we do want to see this continue to break down. And obviously we'd like to see the DXY break all the way down to 100 and fill this wick at 102 and get down to these levels. So let's see what happens. Keep an eye on the DXY. If you haven't got on your charts, just type in DXY and keep an eye on the DXY. I also like keeping an eye on Bitcoin dominance just to see how alts might be. And yeah, that's why we're not seeing much of a pump on the alts. We've just seen Bitcoin dominance take off. So the better play right now is going to be into Bitcoin. And that's why I gave you that entry at 63,500. However, we start to see Bitcoin dominance come down here to 55. That will allow alts to run a little bit. But ideally, we want to see Bitcoin dominance come down to the 200 EMA, break below it like we saw the DXY, and then continue down so we can have actually a proper alt season. All right, let's take a quick look at the Ethereum chart. And the Ethereum chart is better than yesterday. Let's face it, I was going to do a recording yesterday, and I thought, this is still looking a little bit interesting here. It was under the 200 EMA. It popped back above it. This is a good sign. This is a good sign that we saw here. And so far, we've had a decent bounce off here, but I'll be interested to see, can it make its way up to the 50-day moving average at 3,385? If it does, will we get rejected there? I expect that we might, even if we do get back up there. Remember, these bands as well work on not just Bitcoin, but on every coin. And we saw with Ethereum, why was it good to take profit? We just got overextended. You can see these bands stretched out here. Now we're starting to see these bands stretched out to the downside as well. So here, obviously, I think we'll have a bit of resistance at 3,335. and then the 50-day moving average at 3380. There's a trend line there as well. I think there's a lot of resistance there, and with the grayscale selling, I'm not expecting us to break through. But however, it's weekend, and then the weekend, the ETFs are not selling. So we might see a little bit of a weekend pump, and if there is, there might be a trade to take advantage of. I will be streaming tomorrow, and I will update there if I see anything in the charts that would lead me to believe of a weekend pump. But it's good we do have a higher low here. Again, I want to see a candle close above 3563, about 3565. We need to close above there. So I'm not going to really flip bullish on Ethereum until I see a daily candle close above that candle. Until then, we're seeing, this just consolidate within this range, within this wedge that I have here. You can see this wedge. These are lines that I have drawn. You can also draw trend lines like this. We saw a bit of deviation outside the range. We come back. We could also just as easily break down from here, and there are the levels that I indicated over the last few days down here at around 3,000. At 3,100, and then 28 to 2,900. Those would be the three entry levels that I would have here. Would I enter a trade right here? No, I wouldn't, because it's kind of just a no man's land. I would be entering a trade here, or if I was going short, I would enter a trade here, or obviously up here as well if I felt the market was going to go short. So let's see what happens. And we're kind of a little bit of when these bands go like a line like this is a bit of a no trade zone. The trade zones is when we get some kind of slant to the downside or to the upside. So we can see here, this is a trading zone. This is where you take a trade because we see a breakout from red to green. You take the trade. This is on the daily. Obviously, you can do this on the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and the 15 minute. I like the 15 minute. And you can see there is a clear trend. So this is a good trade to the upside. But as soon as we start to get in here, that's the time to get out of the trade. You should have stop losses in here, or you should have taken profit here. And then if you entered back in the trade, stop losses here, and then or go short because it flips down. And we see a clear downtrend here. Now we've come back in. There was a long could be taken here, but right now we're just in chop in the middle. So there's a bit of a no trade zone for me, but I've given you some targets to the downside for Ethereum. If you're wanting to accumulate Ethereum, like the ETFs are loading up on Ethereum at these low, in my opinion, manipulated prices. So are we going to come back to the 200 EMA? Is that the only test we're going to get to it? Let's find out today and over the weekend, and obviously on Monday as well when the market reopens. So there could be a lot of volatility around Ethereum. Okay, and then let's look at the Solana charts here. And then we're going to jump into something different. I have a little bit of a surprise for you today. And let's look at the Solana chart. So all that Ethereum jumped into the Solana. So this has been a good one to trade. We've broken above the trend line. I did give you the 165 yesterday. So if you took the 165 yesterday, and I also gave you on Ethereum the drop to the 200 EMA at 31. So if you got that, then you're up on Ethereum, you're up on Bitcoin, and you'll be up on Solana. If you watched my video and you've been in the Discord, you've gotten all of those trades. I gave them clearly all before they happened. So here's another winner. I gave you this at 165. We jumped all the way up to, was it 184? So that's been a fantastic trade. Good appreciation there. Where am I looking for Solana? I wouldn't be looking to jump in a trade on Solana right here, but I would be looking at, again, we do find that Solana likes to come back. So 160, around the 163 line, Solana likes to come back. To test that, we see that we're really stretched out here on the EMA ribbons. And so I'm looking here at an entry at about 163 would be a good entry. The next entry below that at 150, and then as per yesterday, around 135, and then 125, 120 to 125, a little bit lower. So that's why I'm looking on Solana. Obviously, we could get a bounce off this trend line here, which is about 165. So don't squabble over a couple of bucks. If it comes down at 165 again, that would be a good place that I'm looking to jump in. But obviously, yeah, this line is moving up, by the way. So this just going to keep moving up, and by the time actually this line gets up to here, it could be 165. So I'm going to say 165 again to jump back, and you can just swing this. Look, you jump in here, you get out here, you jump in here, you get out here, you jump in here, you get out here. we're in a little bit of a range, around 185 down to about 165 as well. So you can completely swing trade this and make some good money in this area. Okay, I'm going to jump back to something kind of new and kind of exciting and it is the VIX. And the VIX is something that we use for stocks. So it's a proven S&P 500 buy signal. And so when we see the VIX has, what has it done? When the 10-day ROC crosses the 40 on the VIX, and I do have the VIX on my chart, and if you buy now, basically, and I bought some today because the stock market is down. It did have a bit of a drop with forward 3 to 6 month positivity rates of 84 to 91% respectively. So if you have some cash and can wait 3 to 6 months, then this signal fired off. And those of you, of course, are familiar with the VIX. This is bread and butter stuff for you guys. But for those of you who haven't looked at it before or seen this, this can be a very good signal to help. And I also have the Musk Empires. If you haven't joined, this is a free airdrop. You get free money. We're getting in early on this one. And so hopefully we'll have a couple more months of accumulation, and then there'll be a decent airdrop that will come in. You can click a link in the description below if you want to start. This is like Hamster Kombat. It's like Hamster Kombat, we got in pretty late. This one we're getting in much earlier. The graphics interface is pretty much identical or the same, similar. I think this is better. I enjoy it more, and I'm certainly spending more time of my dead time in here. And so obviously not financial advice, but you don't have to invest anything but your time into this, but just be careful. You don't have too much time invested into it. It should be just your dead time where you can just mine tokens and grow your hourly rate and so forth. And there are other videos that I've done. If you look back in the last week or so, there's a couple of Musk Empire videos that I've done. So please check that out. And there's one particular tutorial as well, which will step you through, how to do it and how to play the game so that you can mine the tokens and earn some free money when they do the airdrop. So the last thing that I'm going to jump onto here is the cheat sheet. And of course, what have I added here? BitConnect is great for those who live in the USA. You can sign up for this one. Don't use KYC and use a NordVPN. I also have the NordVPN link here. Down here, there's a link where you can sign up and you'll get a discount. I think you'll get a few months free and you'll get like a 70-something% discount as well, which is great. With BitConnect, please use the referral code if you're signing up. That helps me. That helps grow the channel. Also, you win because you get reduced trading fees. But this is where I encourage those that are using Coinbase, Uphold, and Crypto.com and are getting hammered by fees and bad spreads and lack of coins and functionality for buy and limit and sell orders. This also has leverage for those of you who know how to do leverage and experience leverage trades. If not, then I encourage you not to use leverage on there. But certainly BitConnect is something that you can jump on in. And I do have a tutorial, the very first video that I did getting started, showing you how to move funds out of Coinbase or Uphold or Crypto.com into BitConnect. It's very easy. It's a free sign up. Plus they give you some rewards as well in there, as well as the reduced trading fees. So check this out. But the last thing is the exciting thing, which is stocks. I have added the Magnificent Seven plus Coinbase, plus Coinbase. And with entries on this, I am going to add exits on here. I'm still filling it in, as you can see. And you can see there, all of these aggressive entries, I believe, are from the latest dip. So I'm going to color those to yellow. So those are to be hit today. And then we have other entries here. I am going to put some exits on the way up. And so for those of you who like stocks or like trading the stock market, I've had great success here to the portfolio and the shares that I have. So those are all the ones that I currently actively trade at the moment. There are a couple of others as well that I will be adding to here over time. But I hope that's going to provide a little bit more fun, a little bit more X factor to this cheat sheet, that if you're also in crypto and in stocks like I am, here are some aggressive entry levels, and then entry level 1, 2, 3, and entry 4 as well. We may not see some of these prices for a while, but I do want to give them in case there is a fierce drop down or fierce drawdown with that, although this could have just been a little bit of a dip and then we're on from here, but certainly an area that I accumulated this morning. This is why this video is a little bit late, because I was trading some stocks and adding to some of my positions there. Alrighty, well, thank you so much again for tuning in. And as always, until the next video, happy trading.